Hold it. This is not COA Today, Living Smart, Living Well. This is a special production of the Bill George Show. Ladies and gentlemen, due to the overwhelming success of Bill George's appearance on 2 programs of COA Today, we are going to have a special program dedicated to, what are we going to call this? A nostalgic look at early Ipswich.
That's right. And they're trying to be entertaining and not necessarily intellectually stimulating. How about that?
Yeah, that'd be too much of a challenge.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so.
In other words, we're going to have a good time, hopefully.
And if you missed, for some reason, in your past life, you missed watching Bill George on COA Today, Living Smart, Living Well. We did an incredible array of shots of his various photographs and postcards, and,
Well, we tried to
just keep tuned because you're going to be overwhelmed by this. But
yeah. Well, what we've done, we've tried to do is not repeat what I did the last time. There's bound to be some overlap, but and we want to keep it moving, keep it lighthearted. It's not a history lesson or anything like that. And,
what? I thought it was.
No,
I'm learn some stuff. All right.
It will have certain facets to it about that history, but
It's not fiction.
No, it's not. Well, I don't know about
What?
that. A little fiction enters in at all times.
Start off here. What do we
Okay,
got?
we're going to start off with a group of pictures. We're going on an ice cutting expedition on the Ipswich River.
Oh, wow.
Now, back in the early part of this century, running up until the 1950s or 60s, they cut a lot of ice up above the dam. It was then Sylvania.
Okay.
And this is up where the Third Tree area is what that was. They had a dam and they had a pond there, and they'd have local people come in and cut the ice. That's about what it amounts to. You can see the saws, hand saws. They'd scrape.
This is like a broom thing? What is this?
No, that's a saw, a hand saw. The saw is going down, sawing the ice, just like sawing wood. They would saw the ice.
Wow.
And then they'd break it free. And they'd float the cakes. They would push the cakes into a conveyor system, and they'd go up in the ice house and they'd pack it with sawdust once it got in the ice house, and it would stay there and probably until the next fall.
We're talking circa what, early 1900s?
No, this is later than that. This is in the I'd say this is in the 1940s.
Really?
Yeah, because I've got a picture of a Model A Ford that they used, and that came out in the 30s.
Where were these ice houses?
This is we're coming to this, right down at what the locals know as Third Tree.
What, like behind Ipswich Shellfish?
Yeah, right between Ipswich Shellfish and the river.
Okay.
There's the locals will know it as Third Tree.
All right.
And there's the Model A Ford. Now that's a 1930-31 Ford, so it's after that, and it's Lathrop's. They owned it, the Lathrop family that owned a lot of, they had oil and ice, that sort of thing.
I remember the Lathrop.
That was a pretty large ice house, as you'll notice. And here's the rig putting it onto the truck, the Model A truck. And it would go off to town and peddle the ice. That's about...
There's a lot of heavy-duty labor
Yeah, I was
involved.
going to say, they'd hire a lot of local people to do that. And it's...
Wow.
It's kind of self-explanatory, but it's interesting. People like that. They're very interesting in that.
All right. What do we got?
Okay, now we're back downtown to the Caldwell block, which is now known as the pub.
Oh, the pub, yeah.
Yeah, and this is in its heyday in 1884 when they, well, what's the right word? They were celebrating the anniversary of the town. They had it all decorated up. It's pretty good.
Oh, wow.
And then it fell sort of into decline in the 1930s. There it is. It's
Atlas Lunch.
yeah, I remember that.
Believe it or not, I remember the Atlas Lunch
I
as
do
a kid.
too. Yeah. I wasn't old enough to drink then, but that's all right.
Pickwick Ale. Oh, my goodness.
Here's another interesting.
It's amazing.
It's a shot of the corner. There's a parade. Some ladies coming around in a 1931 Cadillac touring car, but that's the that's the pub.
Oh, wow.
That's the Atlas Lunch in the background.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and you know, I got that. I was buying for the automobile, and it's come to find out it's the Atlas Lunch. Then there's one more on sort of a parade format. They had a clam union in town. This is a float they had in the parade of 1928. I think it's a clam. I don't know.
I thought they always should have had a beauty pageant. You know, Miss Steamer or Miss Clam.
Well, they do it. They did almost. That's a steamer right there. That's quite interesting.
That'd be a big hit.
Yeah, that's about 1928, obviously. People could argue, and it's pretty definitive.
Oh, that would look great in an obituary. Yeah, she was the former Miss Steamer of 1927. Oh, yeah.
Then we'll hop up the street to the, there's a little before and after, different views and so forth. The Strand Theater.
Yes.
That's in 1910. So that's how it was called the Opera House at that time. And then it went to the Strand Theater.
Okay, in this photograph, you'll see the little Tozier's News Department. I don't remember that. That's before my time.
This is before your father was born, so it goes back a ways. You know.
Do you was there an ice cream shop that was on the right-hand side facing the Strand Theater? I have a distinct memory of this.
Most likely. I don't know.
And somebody's challenged me.
This is where Sophia's is today, that building there.
Yeah.
This is gone.
When
the
did
bank
they put,
is in there
when
now.
When did they put the, what do you call that? When would you put the
marquee?
The marquee.
Here's the marquee, isn't it? Yeah,
there it is,
see it? Yeah. And this is when it was on the decline. You can tell by the general appearance. Yeah.
God, the screws. Great air conditioning too.
Was it? I don't remember.
You didn't go up the balcony?
No, my parents didn't let me go to the movies in the summertime, believe it or not, because of the polio scare.
If you're not old enough to remember this was a real fear in the 50s of getting polio. By the way, do you have any photographs or postcards of the old polio camp on Plum Island?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't know that.
There was a Coast Guard station before that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
But there was a group of buildings that was segregated.
Yes, we could do a whole show on that. Now, this is interesting. This is the municipal parking lot before it was a municipal parking lot. This is when they were in the process of making it into a parking lot. Here's the back of the bank. There'll be many people who can remember this one. This was in the 60s. It might have been even later than that.
Was that Goodhues?
Farley Brook. This is where Goodhues, this building is still there.
Yeah, okay.
The bank is still there.
Yeah.
There was a brook that ran right here, and anyone over 70 can remember that. Yeah, it was quite. It was. It goes with the next picture.
Can we see?
It was very descriptive of
what
happened. Yeah, it stunk like the holy. Yeah, and anyway, that's when they were putting the pipe in.
Okay.
And that leads us into the next group here. We used to smelt fish in Ipswich in winter, and we get a lot of fish. I had a little hut down there.
Did you ever eat a smelt?
Yeah, they used to smelt down off of Little Neck, smelt fishing in Ipswich. No smelts anymore. There isn't a smelt left. I used to fish there. I was a smelt fisherman. This is look at there's a beneficiary to this picture other than smelt fishing. There's no houses on Great Neck there. This is taken from the Little Neck Wharf, looking over toward Great Neck.
Okay. I used to call that Bayview.
No, Bayview is the other end, is even further on, yeah. But just take my word for it, there are no smelts left, and most of the smelt fish.
Which I think is a good thing, because I can't stand it. But
Here's a little packet on the fire of 1894 downtown. Pretty interesting, really. This is what is now the Five Corners, some number of corners, deli.
Quint's Corner.
Quint's Corner to us old people. Yes, It's Quint's Corner. That fire did quite a job on the center of Ipswich.
What was the year?
1894. It was the one that spurred on the development of the Ipswich water system.
Okay.
And also it got us to buy a steam fire engine.
You weren't a selectman then, were you?
No, it was a few years before my term, that's all. And this is kind of interesting because that corner didn't get rebuilt right away. They rebuilt everything but the corner, and they had a Moxie sign on the while they were ready.
Did you ever drink Moxie?
Oh, I liked Moxie.
You did?
Yeah. I'm alone. I guess I'm the only guy that liked it, but I liked Moxie. It was
foulest tasting stuff.
I'm known to like strange things like that, and I did like Moxie.
All right, let's not get too personal.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I still like Moxie.
All right.
Here's a combination picture. The real the railroad
Railroad
station
station.
plus the back of the Whipple House up on Saltonstall Street before it was moved.
That is a mind blower. But a lot of people have no idea that the Whipple House wasn't always situated where it is now.
Exactly.
It was moved. It was a huge project.
Yep.
Right?
We're going to show that in a minute. We're coming to that. But this
that's-
is the introduction. This is when it was down there. This is the railroad station where the cooperative bank is. You're standing in the tracks, looking south.
Wow. Wow.
And here's the Whipple House when it was not the Whipple House. It was a just a regular house that people of
In
low
rough-
income lived. I'd
rough
say
shape,
back in
rough
1870.
shape, rough
you know.
shape.
And
Good grief.
then the historical people bought it and fixed it up down there. Now you can how do we know? Because the same tree is there. See you look at the other one. But see, there's the same tree. That's how you identify in photography.
Yeah.
A lot of these things, you find something like that. And here's the tree. Here's the house after it's been renovated by the tree. This is up on Saltonstall Street also because they didn't move the tree. They moved the house. And here's the house being moved. That's right on. There's a theater. Here's the houses where the banks sit now. Here's the house coming down. That was in 1927.
What? My goodness. I mean, did they shut downtown
Yeah.
for the day? I mean,
They must have. Yeah, I mean, they did
without doing damage to the house.
I don't know. They did a lot of house moving in this time period. They were great at moving houses. I don't know. I guess they had plenty of time.
I mean, that's
you know,
wild.
Nothing on their hands. Here's a couple on the hot house. And why I ran into this photo somewhere, and the fellow saved it for me. I'd never seen this one. This is when they were actually building. This is about 1910. They were building the This is just part of the hot house. You know, I don't even know if it's there now or not. But
it was called the Burnham House for a while?
yeah, oh yeah, this was the Burnham house. Mr. Burnham was the promoter, an antique dealer. He sold rugs, he sold antiques, he sold, I guess he sold anything he could, you know? And he was pretty good. And he named it the Burnham House, and there's a lot of pictures. They have a lot of pictures up there. I've given some to other people, and blah, blah. It was the Burnham House.
Huh.
Here's the crossing up at High Street. This is where the new bridge is now. The trolley cars would come from Georgetown and wherever up north, had to stop here. You had to walk across there, get on another car, and go to Essex that way.
Really?
Yeah, there wasn't even a crossing at that point.
Good grief.
And that's before the first bridge was built. This whole area was changed.
So that isn't a natural, that hill was built up
That
to
hill
go
was
over the tracks.
That's right. And it was a grade crossing is what this is the B&M tracks this way.
Yeah.
And they stopped right there, and you had to get on another car to go to Essex.
Wow.
And
And it went to Georgetown.
yeah, this line went to Georgetown. In those days, if you really look into it, you could go tremendous distances on trolley cars if you didn't mind making a change.
Yeah.
This would go into Haverhill, then we get down the Merrimack Valley to Amesbury, Newburyport, Hampton. You could go up north. I don't know how far you could go, but you could travel long distances.
Cool.
Okay, here's one that I didn't have the last time. I remember people wanted to know what it was like. You don't remember that, what it was, do you? You remember?
Wait a minute.
I do. You see if you can.
Wait a minute.
We'll play guessing games. See if you paid attention that day. Yeah. No, we
It's
can't-
obviously on the river, but
Yeah. It was a boat that came into Ipswich delivering lime for the building trades when they made brick work and like that, and it caught on fire, and it burnt to the water line. It's right across from the Ipswich Outboard Club landing, and it laid there. I would bet today that you could find some of that if somebody really wanted.
what's the vintage? What do we?
Yeah, the postcard, 1900.
1900 or something.
Yeah.
Wow. Whew.
This package is, that's just a good shot of the Haze Hotel that burnt down 30 years ago, I guess, with loss of life, and it's a pretty good picture. That's that. Now, I don't know what's in there now. Chinese restaurant and different things.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I always get confused exactly where the Haze Hotel was down there. It was.
Yeah.
I think you might be right, but where the Mayflower Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, that's good enough. It's right in there. But that was a particularly good picture, and I thought I'd add that in today.
Wow.
And I always liked this one because it reminded me of myself and some of my buddies that sit around downtown discussing the latest
of the
events. Yeah, it's kind of.
It does sort of look like
Me? Does it
Bill
look like
Duke.
me?
No, that Bill Duke.
There's Bill Duke and Jake Burridge over there peeking around. Yeah.
Jimmy almost.
Yeah. Now that was down right where that jewelry shop is now. It used to be Joden's Barber Shop. To people that have been around a while, it was Joden's Barber Shop right in that building.
Oh wow.
But it's kind of interesting.
What a collection you have.
Oh,
This
has only scratched the surface. We're moving along pretty good today, which I guess is good. But we're not.
It's good that we're moving.
Well,
It's good that we're moving.
I'll talk to the audience. Most of the people that watch this know me, and I could go on for hours. I have no trouble talking. You know that. You'd never know it, would you? Huh? But right now, they're talking about, well, they're going to refurbish the Winthrop School or do something to it. This is the old Winthrop School. These two are the old Winthrop School. They put an addition on back in addition to this somewhere back in history. I'm not sure where, but people will argue with you about that and say, "Oh no, they didn't.
Where was the Manning High School?
Right here. That was built in the 1870s.
But isn't that where the Winthrop School was?
No, it's right here, next door to it. See, here's that Winthrop School over here. Here's the Manning School right there. These go together, actually. I'm going to show a sequel. Now we have the same era building, our fire station that we are going to have to replace someday. Those buildings are long gone. There's the fire station. There's the Manning School. The fire station is still there, serving our needs for today, you know?
Yes.
So
where's the horn?
we're going to have to, somebody someday,
Where's the horn?
is going to have to replace that.
Is the horn still there, just inoperable, or they take the horn down?
I don't know about the horn. All I know is the building is just about, in my opinion, I'm not an architect, but the building has seen its better days, and it was built to house that kind of stuff, you know, horses and. But here's what it's housing today, you know.
Yep. Okay.
So it's in the real early days, the hook and ladder was housed down at the old town hall. They used to back it. This was the rear door at the old town hall. They'd back the ladder truck in there. The fire department had a band then too. There's the Ipswich Fire Department band, and I'll bet anything that people can pick out their relatives there. That's probably taken in the 1920 era.
Yeah. Wow. A band, a fire
Here's
department
the
band.
fire department parade. That's the first motorized truck, a 1912 GMC. They had a different atmosphere then, you know. And here's another one that's the kind of equipment that fire station was built to handle. And that's a 1920 white truck. It was, I think, one of the first pumpers that we had in town.
Oh, wow.
And it ran into the 1940s. Okay, now we'll go to the Ipswich Mills. We'll just go. The Ipswich Mills had a band, and there it is. You know.
This is a pretty interesting part of Ipswich history, the whole mill thing.
Very interesting. That's the picture. The reason I started off with that is it's got the sign up there, and every organization, well, not literally, but most organizations had a band. Here's the lunch hour at the mill. They're coming out from work. That's the Esty Street.
Yeah.
The bowling alley used to be over here.
Yeah.
The Plav is over here.
Yeah.
You take a right to go down to the Riverview. We had a lot of requests for pictures down around the alley, they call it. You know?
Okay.
And the pictures are hard to find. It's right along there by the river view.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you can see this was Sylvania then, but
Yeah.
the very few pictures. My buddy Jim says that the reason they didn't take any pictures, nobody dared to go down there with a camera. You know?
Oh, come on.
Well, he was there, I wasn't. He didn't even dare to go down there very often, and they lived there. Here's the train. That is now that's the MBTA parking lot where this engine sits right here.
Okay,
This is, you know where that is.
Yeah. Wow.
And this one always stirs up, this Goodhue's boat livery. They used to rent boats down at the end of 3rd Street, I believe. It's down along there by, it's one of those streets.
What, like rowing boats?
Yeah, evidently the Mr. Goodhue was a character of some sort.
Huh.
And I don't know anything about him except that's what it is. You'd rent canoes, just like Foot's Canoe, only it's downtown, right there. Yeah. And I imagine, people didn't have cars. They'd go down there and rent a canoe and go for a ride on a Sunday afternoon up the river, sure. Right up to where they were harvesting ice in the wintertime, same place.
All right, listen, we're going to come back to this.
Okay, we're going to come back.
Yes, and we're going to have a part 2. So pay attention and watch for this listing, okay? This is some pretty interesting stuff. But thank you very much from the Bill George Show.